and the world watch in horror as the APC compromised security operatives and thugs unleashed terror, harassed, arrested, and detained PDP members and supporters, forced siege mentality before and on election day, and paved the way for its agents and procured INEC officials to manipulate the ballot process, substitute genuine results from the polling units with fictitious figures, and transfer the victory clearly won by our candidate, Aswe Ighodalo, to the defeated APC candidate. As Nigeria
is an APC stooge, by the way, that guy is with the weakest, placeholder. I think that's what you call him. So that the fact that with the Wike cannot be punished or suspended or dismissed from PDP, now because of that guy, just so you know. And the guy is talking about, I swear, here is his own message to Edo people. It's like my final message to you, people of Edo.
My good people of Edo State, first, in all things, we must give thanks to God Almighty. We give thanks to God for the gift of life, the gift of health, and for the love you all have shown me. I want to extend my heartfelt gratitude to each and every one of you who has stood by us on this incredible journey. I would like to particularly thank the good people of Edo State who defied the rains, the intimidation, the threats of violence, harassment, arrests, and financial inducements to cast their votes for us overwhelmingly last Saturday, 21st September 2024. You are the true heroes of our democracy, and your sacrifices for a better Edo State will never be forgotten. My aspiration was not born out of the love for power, but a genuine desire to serve the people and create a pathway to prosperity for all in Edo State. I traveled through every ward and every local government area, sharing this message and engaging in meaningful conversations with you. To all our beloved supporters, we thank you for believing in this vision, for your countless hours of dedication, and for every conversation you've had with people about this cause. Together, we ran a great campaign, and your overwhelming support was evident in the ballots before our progress was unjustly halted on September 21st, 2024 by people who do not mean well for you or for our state. That day will forever be etched in our history as one of our darkest moments, marked by the brazen theft of our mandate and the shameful subversion of the will of the people. Yet, in the face of this challenge, we must not be discouraged. The illusory triumph of evil over good is only temporary. Our journey towards a prosperous Edo State does not end here. It is just beginning. Let us remain engaged, committed, and united in our collective resolve to create a pathway for prosperity for all in Edo State. You did not abandon me during our campaign, and I promise you, by the grace of God Almighty, that as we face a daunting and uncertain future together, I will not abandon you. God Almighty bless the people of Edo State. God bless the people of Nigeria, and I thank you all.
The more you look, the less you see.
Abai is just trying to sound pretty much like, you know what? I mean, you're not going to hear from him again. I can promise you that for free. Because the way things work in Nigeria is this: there is no court that's going to return him. Who is that person that is going to give that judgment to say they rigged Edo? People who have already done all the homework up to the judicial bandit level. Anyway, away from Edo, let's go to Abuja, where a lot of things happened today. It all started with them rolling out some supposed approval from Tifnumbu's FEC, Federal Executive Council meeting in Abuja. Should we go to Abuja first or go to Zamfara first? I think we should go to Abuja first, where according to Wike, the FEC has approved that they should build a brand new 40 brand new houses for judges, according to Tifnumbu, through Wike, that they will build 40 new houses for judges in Abuja, in the choice, expensive area of Abuja, and other things that they said was approved. Here is Wike.
We all know the effort of the present government to improve an infrastructure of FCT and its environs, particularly the satellite towns. Prior to this period, we know the level of decay of the infrastructure in FCT, and in most cases, government had never thought it wise to take development to the satellite towns. One of the things we did, or the Federal Council did today, is to approve ratify the approval of the termination of the contract for the development of Maitama 2 district. Before now, you know that this is an area that are allocated to various citizens. What we have there is not less than 1,700 allottees before this government came in, and contracts were awarded the sum of 184 billion for provision of infrastructure in this Maitama 2. It has been a problem. Of course, the thinking of Mr. President is, look, if we're able to develop this, it will reduce the housing deficit. So many people will go and develop their properties. And unfortunately, after the award of this contract, the contractor was not found to be on the site. Of course, you may not also blame him. From what we saw, he was never mobilized. And the reality of the time that it has taken over 1 year. So we sought for the termination of the contract and start a new process of procurement, and then provide enough fund for this infrastructure development to take place in Maitama. I can assure you, now that we have gotten the ratification of the present termination, we'll move quickly to start the procurement process to make sure that we develop a Maitama 2. Again, it has been Mr. President's renewable agenda that we should also take development to the satellite towns. As I speak to you today, I know before December, we'll be able to commission not less than 75 kilometers of roads. But Mr. President had also said we must continue to give hope and give infrastructure to satellite towns. The areas covered or approved by the Federal Council is construction of Pai Gomani Road in Kwale Area Council, Aguma Palace / Radio Nigeria / New Market Road in Gwagwalada Area Council, and then Oshafa War College Road, Oshafa Village Roads, and all other connected roads in Oshafa in Buhari Area Council. So these are the 3 area councils that council approved, that we have to make sure that infrastructure is given. There's also an approval for award of contracts for the development of Arterial Road N5 of Bafina Awolowo Way. That is from Life Camp Junction to Ring Road 3. So many people who have been saying that, look, we must have to do something to see that that place is decongested so that we'll have things free for ourselves. So, and this contract is to be carried out by Julius Berger. and it will be completed in 16, 17 months time. Again, the important, Mr. President, attaches to the judiciary. Mr. Frame finds it very difficult how judges and justices will be living in rented houses and hotel apartments. That is not safe for judiciary. That is not convenient for them to do their work. And so Mr. President directed that the FCT, through the FCDA, should immediately construct 40 number judges and justices quarters at Katape district. Now what it means is that out of these 40, FCT High Court, which is like the FCT Court, will have 20. The Federal High Court will have 10, and the Court of Appeal will have 10. And this will be completed in 15 months' time. Of course, we believe that there's no need to give a long contract. I'll give you from time to time variation upon variation. There's no variation, and Council has said that clearly. Again, Council approved the construction of access road from Arterial Road N11 in Mabuchi to Judges' Quarters. In essence, all the roads within the Judges' Quarters will have to be constructed. Mr. President has also given the Federal Council, sorry, when I say Mr. President, Federal Council also approved the construction of access road from Ring Road 1 by N16, Shehu Shagari Way, also to Judges' Quarters. And this, of course, will be not more than 15 months. Mr. President, also, of course, you know, sometime this year, we flagged off the construction of the Abuja division of the Court of Appeal. If you are there, you will know that there was no access road at all. And so today, Council approved a full development of what they call Collector Road, CN8, and other connecting roads to have access to the Court of Appeal, Abuja division. So these are the approvals made.
Approvals, contracts for this road, for that road, and then judges' quarters, houses. Oh, you should listen to that of Wale Idun. His own too. This one is not reading. I think it's just like its normal usual bulaba, balablu, jargons, this and that, okay? Quickly, Wale Idun.
With Mr. President's decision to start today's Federal Executive Council with a report and allocation of time to discuss the unfortunate, the sad, and very devastating disaster, flood disaster in Borno State. We all agreed and felt that it was extremely appropriate that, led by Mr. President, we focused on, first of all, the sad loss of life and expressing condolences to the relatives who had lost loved ones, as well, of course, as looking to encourage, support, and definitely empathize with those whose lives had been very severely disrupted and negatively affected by the disaster, which, although they had survived, they were facing a very difficult aftermath. Having said that, and we have heard from my colleagues, Honorable Minister for Water Resources, Honorable Minister for Agriculture, their own perspective and details of what happened. But at the end of that important discussion, which we started our meeting with, Mr. President did direct that a disaster relief fund be set up. Now we know we do have the NEMA relief fund. We even have, that was from about 1998, 1999, that was set up. And we do have the, we do also have the flood relief fund that was set up around 2012. But I think Mr. President's view is that we need, in this era of climate change, of climate events, as well as the fact that from time to time there will be, no matter the prevention measures, there will be disasters that will occur, that we need to build greater resilience in the form of a substantial disaster relief fund, separate from the agencies that actually intervene physically. This will focus on the financing and bringing together the funding from across the spectrum, the federal, the subnational levels, even the local levels, and clearly the private sector, and even international philanthropic organizations, a best-in-class fund that would be led by top corporate governance, including leadership by the private sector at an appropriate level, probably heading it, in order to build for Nigeria a resilient response that is of adequate size, scale, and quality, and able to respond in such occurrences as we have had in Borno and elsewhere before. And we, no matter how we prepare and pray against it, we also know that this will happen from time to time, and so we need to be ready. In addition, importantly, the Economic Stabilization Bill proposal, draft bill, was passed by the Federal Executive Council, and that essentially basically puts in place specific measures, specific draft laws, and specific policies in the fiscal area, in the tax area, in order to improve the overall economic environment. It's essentially based on the output of the Fiscal Policy and Tax Reform Committee that was set up by Mr. President in August 2023, and which, under the chairmanship of Mr. Taiwo Oyedele, and in order to give, in order to implement those different recommendations, what has been required is changes to various laws, and as a package, the Federal Executive Council did pass for onward transmission to the National Assembly economic stabilization bills. It contains, for example, items that change the Foreign Exchange Act, give greater liquidity, and encourage the use of electronic rather than cash means, for example.
Okay, I'll save you the rest. Before all of them slip off, Mayegun, please take him off the screen. We can't really understand what he's saying. Those are the dredge, the worst from Yoruba land. They are called managed to select to handle the economy of Nigeria, and they have done a great job by destroying it further. Those are not the best from the Yoruba land. We do have brainy, productive, resourceful Yorubas that could do a better. Even Obasanjo, we be seen as soldier, right? Was able to discover brainiacs from across Nigeria that at least managed to re-gig that Nigeria for you. Where a drug dealer a drug addict, certificate forger, who only need yes men, those are the best it could find for you. And I am a Yoruba man, and I apologize to all of you, okay, that person does not represent the Yorubas. They represent the dredge, the worst from Yoruba land. And then by the time they are done with Nigeria economy, Togo economy will be better than what you have right now. Yeah, you heard me right. They are not done. This afternoon, Kadobi Oduduwa Emefiole was also, he also made some announcements too on the economy. To fight inflation, of course, they have increased the interest rate. And this is what you have to say about that. Hang on. Before that, this was Oduduwa Emefiole Kadobi. So from the record, in the last 1 year, since Kadobi became the central bank governor of Nigeria, Nigeria Naira has lost more than half of its value. Again, this, what do you call it? This coconut head, this empty pangolo head, is also not representing, it doesn't represent the educated, enlightened, economists and resourceful Yorubas. By all means, it doesn't represent us. It represents the dredge of Yoruba. I'm talking about the waste of Yoruba land that worked with a Ekolu in Lagos. And their only achievement is to what? Is to corner whatever it is they could get it from the hardworking people of Lagos. Okay? So now they are in charge of Nigeria. They have destroyed Nigeria. And within a year, Nigeria Naira lost more than half of its value. And it's going to lose more. By the time they are done, tissue paper and Naira, tissue paper will have more value than Nigeria Naira. So I apologize to you. Sorry about that. I shouldn't be, because it's not my fault. Don't be me appointed. But I just want you to know that the same Yoruba land gave you Obasanjo. Abi? I mean, well, Obasanjo was from Yoruba land. When the Nigeria economy was in the gutters, Obasanjo cancelled Nigeria debt, improved Nigeria economy, gave Nigeria Naira value. And today, his successors, they've made worse of it. Abi? Kadobi Oduduwa Emefiole. It won't make any sense. So, now make I warn you ahead, though. The Central Bank of Nigeria, the Central Bank Governor of Nigeria, as appointed by Drogit Ifnumbu.
Yes, with the past 1 year. Now, first and foremost, we came into a very loose money supply situation. Between 2015 and 2023, the past 8 years, witnessed an incredible amount of pumping of liquidity into the system. In 2015, money supply was about 19 trillion naira. And in 2023, it was 54 trillion naira. I mean, that's a huge increase. A very, very huge increase. And a substantial amount of that, as I'm sure you all know, was through means. Okay, so essentially printing of money resulted in a huge amount of money chasing, because this is the implication, chasing the same amount of goods, a relatively small amount of goods. So I think that context is very, very, very important to have. And to put it in another way, while the economy on average was growing at 1.2% during that time, money supply was growing at 12.6%. Okay, so you can see the inherent distortion there. Then also, let's not forget that we had a situation where global oil prices collapsed, okay, in 2015. Okay, and with that collapse also, we shouldn't forget, unfortunately, and it's just a fact of life, that Nigeria is a monolithic economy. Okay, so you're dependent for everything on oil. And as a result of the collapse in oil prices, foreign exchange began to dwindle, and it's important to understand that within this period, the response to that was really lesser foreign exchange and fixing of foreign exchange prices. And that also harmed the economy to no end. In other words, you had a situation where the response to excess money